Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. My name is Cindy and it is July 15th. One piece of housekeeping I want to take care of before I get to my question. I had on my feed there have been these sort of conversations going on where people say, oh, congratulations, you're doing really great with your subscribers. Now you'll be able to monetize it. And then somebody else comes along and says, no, YouTube won't monetize if it has political content. So just for the record, my intention with political readings, both United States and Canada, which I'll be getting to, are, kind of the elections in the fall. So probably August, I'll start doing the Canadian content political readings. But my intention was never, ever to monetize them. To me, and this is just my own personal opinion, I cast no aspersions anywhere. It's sort of like kicking a dog when it's down, There's a crisis going on. And for me, that is not the time to start making money from a crisis. I just don't like the feel of it for me personally. Certainly there is abundance coming to me by the personal readings that you people have chosen to schedule. And of course, donations are always welcome. And to do that, either, Soulprint 888 gmail.com. And, that's how money comes to me, and that's how reading requests come to me. Money, of course, through PayPal. So there's that. I have a question. And my question is, let's get some clarity on Nancy Pelosi. There's been a lot of back and forth about she's being too strong, she's waiting too long, she's not acting, strong enough. Let's just see if we can zero in on just Nancy Pelosi and see what we can see. Okay? So, come on down and a couple of quick shuffles. Nancy Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi, Nancy Pelosi. Interesting. Okay, so there is a part of her that sincerely, on just a gut level, wishes things could go back to the normal crazy of politics as opposed to the insanity that is now going on. But she's very aware of two things sort of simultaneously. And frankly, there are two things that she is working very hard to juggle and to keep balanced. One is that she is dealing with situations that are spinning out of control. Emotions are running high. It's one of those situations where it's going to be almost impossible to please anybody. People want one thing or the other, and even within her own caucus, there seems to be some friction about what that road ahead should look like. And she's working to try to keep those emotions under control and yet still be mindful of all of the different components that people want, all of the different aspects that they want addressed. She has been very, very busy working to pass or to create, I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure of the right word, the business of the House. Okay, so they've been busy, creating bills and doing what they do. And that in part is because she really needs to get some serious stuff done, but in part because it's a way to keep her party on message and on track moving forward in a specific direction. Because while she is very mindful of the need, and in fact the growing need and imperative to get Trump out of office, she is also mindful of the fact that that cannot be the only thing they do. And every time Trump ramps up the crazy, she is back in a place where she's sort of pushing back against the instinctive emotional response to him, which is get him out. The other thing that she is balancing is she's very, very mindful of keeping the majority, keeping her caucus together, ensuring that all of the Democrat members are able to hold on to their seats, because it has to be both. Otherwise, yeah, you rush ahead and you do one thing on one hand, and then you antagonize a bunch of people, and now you have people fighting for their seat, and that could lose you the majority, and then you have no power. And this is her last go around, okay? She will not be looking for another 4 years. And in fact, as it gets closer, you may even see her closer to her 4-year term ending. You may actually see her starting to mentor and bring people on board and start teaching the ropes, not to one but to a couple, to sort of see who fits, who's going to get a really good handle on it. So there's that. She does not have the majority of even her people, her Democrats, on board to start impeachment proceedings or impeachment hearings. She doesn't have the numbers yet. And so she is playing this very, very difficult game of just writing it out, waiting it out, letting the momentum build and build and build. So that, and you know what, if I understand it correctly, these people are all going on their summer break for August. So they're going to be back in their hometowns and their home places. And I imagine there's going to be a good number of town halls. And that's where her members are going to start really getting a super good feel for what people want and how they want to move ahead. And honestly, the crazier Trump gets, the better this is going to work, because he gets people so riled up and so indignant that they're going to start pushing. And when those representatives start getting really pushed, that's when they're going to be able to say, okay, even though I'm in a purple district, even though I'm in a red district, the people who are done with this are done with it, and they want us to move ahead. This has to be a people-based movement. It can't just sit on the heads of the government and of Nancy. It has to be pushed by the people so that moving forward, these, they're aware of the fact that they have the support of their constituents. It's really, really important. You can't rush ahead if you don't have the numbers, and she doesn't have the numbers. Do I think she's going to get the numbers? You bet she's going to get the numbers. And she's going to get the numbers probably by late summer, early fall, as that summer break sort of wraps up and people honestly start getting their head in the game, right? September is that kind of let's get focused again time. I think for most people, right? If you have young children or students in your family, September again is that time of, okay, let's get focused. It's back to school, if you're, of course, in the Northern Hemisphere. So there's that sense that it's coming. Momentum is building, and that's what she's waiting for. She needs to have a real push of the people, and she needs them to all want to move ahead. And slowly but surely, more and more people are getting on that let's start impeachment, hearing bandwagon. But she needs more. Those that are trying to push ahead right now, for the most part, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that for the most part, they are in very blue districts. So those representatives are not in peril. They're not. It's the ones who are in red districts and purple districts that are the concern. And the problem is if there isn't a real teamwork effort, if the people and the government are not really, really tight on this going forward, the momentum could be lost. It could be stolen, and for sure, it will be misinterpreted and used to Trump's advantage, not only by Trump, but by all Republicans. They like nothing more than when there is stress or tension going on in the opposing party, because they can then draw attention to that, as you absolutely saw Trump do this past weekend, to his shame. But they use that to distract from everything else that's going on. And honestly, not only Trump, but the Republicans have a great deal to distract from. A lot. I mean, again, the disaster at the southern border, the whole mess with Epstein, and with every word and every day, Trump's reputation simply by being close to Epstein becomes tarnished, because more and more people remember the allegations against him. And as I said before, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a couple more coming out. And of course, the bad poll numbers, and, antagonizing allies, insulting the Queen, being friends with Kim Jong-un, Putin. Let's not even go there. So there's a lot that they really do need to distract from. So anytime there's friction, anytime that they can push, against what the Republicans are doing, it works to their advantage. They love seeing that infighting. Don't kid yourself. That is part of the reason, and I'm no politician, and again, for those of you who don't know, I am Canadian, so I don't have a pony in this race. I am as objective as I can be. When that funding went through, for example, for the border, people were really, really upset because they viewed that she caved. What she did was, and to be, honestly, I think it was $5 billion. That's a lot of money, okay? But it's not a lot of money in terms of the entire U.S. budget, okay? But what was happening was that Trump and the Republicans had started this spin. Well, if the Democrats would give us the money, we could fix the problem. If you want to complain about the conditions at the southern border, blame the Democrats. They're not giving us the money. Before that created too much momentum that was going to be really hard to turn around, it was more strategic to give them the money and continue to work. And again, now it's okay. Well, now you have the money and the conditions are a disaster, and now you've got these ICE raids going on. So clearly money wasn't the problem. It allows the Democrats to point out the fact that really Trump's agenda is about the whitening of America. That's it. That's what he wants. So the money became sort of a bit of a negotiating tool, and I do appreciate when it's your taxes that are creating that money. It can be really frustrating. But again, I think it was Nicole Wallace on MSNBC who made this statement months and months ago, and I've never forgotten it because it just struck me as really funny. She said, Nancy Pelosi is playing three-dimensional chess with somebody who's playing whack-a-mole. It's not even chess. It's, three-dimensional chess with somebody who's playing whack-a-mole. I love that. It made me howl because you know what? That really is a super, super good visual of what Trump does. He just, goes along and bops things on the head and sees who he can put down. So look for, this is nice to see. Okay, so look for her as the leader, kind of the pack. 2, start moving things along with much more speed as July rolls into August and August rolls into September. And again, you're talking about, 5 weeks here, 6 weeks. And for the people at the border, for the people who are suffering, for the people who are getting caught up in these horrible raids, that's a really, really long time. But based on the way government moves forward, which is, a snail could beat most government agencies, and that's every country around the world, it's going to be moving actually very quickly. So start to look for those changes, start to look for a real firming of her position, and start to look for the Democrats becoming more aggressive and more firm and more vocal in their push back. They've been, kind of polite. They've been doing the politically correct thing. That's going to shift and change moving forward. You're going to see a real push towards, I don't want to say some of the lowball tactics that the Republicans use where they're jumping and screaming about everything, but they're going to be firmer and a little bit more aggressive in the way they respond and react to things. Again, the goal is to bring complete heartache, complete destruction to the White House. That's the goal. It's not little. It's not temporary. It's not put a Band-Aid on it. It is like cut out the growth, okay? She is also very, very mindful, really mindful of the fact that the Republicans who have, or the independents, who have just moved towards the Democrats because they so don't like what they see going on. She's really mindful of the fact that not only does she need their support in 2020, the Democrats also need their support in 2024 and 2028 even, because there's so much to clean up. And there's so much going forward that has to kind of be corrected, right? It's not just enough to fix this situation, but what led up to it, the lack of actual law, as opposed to courtesy and tradition that didn't allow things, that kept sort of things intact. And Trump, of course, has taken that and smashed it to the ground. So she's aware that there's not only things have to be fixed, but they have to be sort of legislated into law so that this cannot happen again. And in order to do that, she needs to be able to hang on to those Republicans who, have moved left and those independents who have moved left. It's not short term. She is looking strategically long term. And even though she is not going to be leader of the party after her term ends, I guess, which is like 2022, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be, at that point, she's no longer going to be active in politics, but she wants to right the world. She wants to ensure that the reputation of the United States is corrected in the eyes of the world. That's her goal. That's what she's trying to accomplish. Again, the truth, the strength, being, on the right side is going to be the power. And they are, and she is, assured of that victory going forward. So, I understand for some people this is taking way too long. I understand people are frustrated. I get it. I hope that this reading has given some, comfort, perhaps a little bit of understanding, so that as energies move forward, they are the energies that are going to create long-standing change, and they are the energies that are going to be solid. You're going to be able to, get them in, and they're going to stay in. So I think that's it for today. Thank you very, very much, of course, for just coming to spend some time with me, and for all of your comments and the likes, and of course the subscriptions and the thumbs up. All of it is brilliant. So thank you very much. And until next time, take care, be well, and we'll see you real soon. Bye.